thought I would showcase one of my books, which is this one called The Perfect Place, Messages to Inspire the Creative Heart. Inside, you'll find beautiful illustrations and kind of thoughts for the day that just inspire you and encourage you, and I think you'll like it. It has a companion volume, but just go to Amazon and search my name and you'll find all my books there. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different because I got started on something, and you know how you want to be kind of stay in the flow of it, otherwise you kind of lose momentum. I don't want to do that, because what happens is you put it away because you have to move it, and then it gets buried or shelved or stuck in a drawer or something like that. And then a month or two or a year later, you find it's like, okay, yeah, I remember that. And I had a plan for it, but I can't remember what that was. So I don't want that to happen. So today, for at least for a moment, I'm talking about momentum. And I'm going to be working on this watercolor piece because I'm thinking I'd like to get a new swimsuit this year. And I thought, well, why don't I design my own? So here's the painting that I've been working on. I want to just put a little dimension into the leaves, that's all. And then I'm going to add some dots. And there, that's all there is to that. See how much difference it makes? It's just way cuter. Let's just say that. And now I decided, rather than fill in all this background, I'm going to put some dots in, and I'm using acrylic paint. I'm going to finish this, and then we'll get on to the glue book, which I have kind of a fun, cool idea for. I think that's enough. I decided today to work in this travel journal size again. I didn't pull any pages out of here, I've just kept going, so you can tell that it's gotten really fat on one side and really skinny on the other, which makes for kind of a lump in here, which makes it a little bit harder to work with. But today I'm going to do my designs in black and white. I might add a little bit of color, but basically I'm using black and white. And to start with that, I've got some of these, they're photocopies that I made of some pages that I found online and downloaded and whatnot. So I've got music, I've got newspaper, and I've got writing. And I'm going to start with this one. Just going to run my finger along there. Now that's not exactly where I'm going to cut it, because if I do that, it'll just jam into the what do you call this? The crease there. Let's get that out of the way. So I'm going to cut it a little bit narrower than that. Yeah, that's perfect actually. And I might use some more on this side of the page as well. However, let's start with this one. And I'm using this glue. I think I'll tear off this little piece, because little top corners like that tend to want to just stick up. So what's new today? Today the temperature is actually below freezing. We had a cold wind come in yesterday. I decided that I would go to the library about 4 o'clock. I had a book to take back and I had some requests to pick up. And wouldn't you know it, bang on 4 o'clock it starts to snow and blow. And I mean, it wasn't very much snow. It was mostly kind of little hard snow pellets. And if you live in snow country, you know what I'm talking about. They are like, not quite hail, but little balls of hard snow, driven by the wind. So I took my umbrella because I wasn't sure how heavy it was going to get. Of course, the wind throws the umbrella all over the place. I had to hang on to it on the edge sometimes. I don't know. Undecided about that. But I think what I'll do is with this one, I will do the whole page like this, which helps me decide what to do with that other side. Okay, let's put this one down. Interesting thing about using black and white is that there's not that much available unless you kind of make it yourself, which I might end up doing here. Or what I might do is have to add color anyway, because I just don't have enough black and white ephemera and pieces and magazine things and whatever available. But the idea kind of appealed to me today, so there. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what this song is about, but this word here is the French word for frog, and it's pronounced grenouille. So grenouille. Anyway, my French is kind of out of practice right now. Let's see. I think I would like to put something in here. I just do this. Start there and end over here. And if it meets, great. So my daughter and I are planning a trip to England in the summertime, which is not a great time to go because of costs and whatnot. However, she found a dream course she wants to do, which is, I think I mentioned this before, something about medieval manuscripts, because she does calligraphy. Anyway, it's in Oxford. So I've been trying to find, I can't stay with her at her course because it's only, the accommodation is only for students. They seem to be quite sticky about that. So I'm looking around for something else and seeing what there is to do for me while she's in her course. I decided, we talked about me going separately from her after her course is done, and I thought, you know, I don't really want to do that. I don't mind traveling by myself, but it's so much easier with somebody else. And she's good at it. She's I'm good at making plans, carrying them out. Sometimes I have to concentrate rather hard, let's say. There's my black and white page. Now, I wanted to show you this. It's a little book I bought in Paris when I was there in 2021. Yeah, I went with my sister in 2021. And I saw it in a bookstore. And you know, the odd thing about bookstores in France is that the covers are all the same. They're all like this color on shelves. So you can't browse because you can't tell what it is. And so I guess what you got to do is just go and say, I want such and such a book, and they'll go find it. It's not my idea of a fun bookstore, but the one bookstore had a bunch of things like this, postcards and whatnot, and I bought this little book, which is basically a coloring book, except that everything's so tiny in it. I don't really want to color. However, it has all these pages. Look at that. That's so cute, isn't it? All these sketches. And if you really wanted to occupy your mind, you could color these, for example, with a marker or whatever. Cameras, good grief. A lot of paraphernalia kind of thing. But at the back, it's got 4 pages per page. So it's like all the pages. I wish they were one-sided, because then I could feel comfortable cutting one out without, you know, losing something else. I might use something from there. I haven't decided. Okay, there's my background. I also have these. And I've got stickers like that and this, which has black and white, that I bought in Vancouver. And then I found these ages ago, when scrapbooking was a great big thing, right? And I thought, well, I could use some of those. The perfect trip is a circle, getting there and coming home, I guess so. All right, let's choose something out of this pack. I think my daughter gave me these too. We kind of do this for each other. I found this for you, brought you this. And sometimes, even though it's really cool, you don't know what to do with it. So these ones are all by this artist whose business is Sue Atelier. And oh, this is cute. I love the Eiffel Tower. So these are all European. That looks like Notre Dame, which currently has scaffolding all over it because they're rebuilding it. And some of these have color, obviously. That's in Paris as well. My aim is not to make this a Paris thing. That's kind of fun, but rather to make it black and white and to use some of these, because up until now I haven't had any big ideas about what to do with them besides just have them. I think I'll cut off the edge of this. I also had to turn down my thermostat because it's cold out today, so it comes on, but it makes a lot of noise. And then I get too hot under the lights here. It's set so that it comes on and blows for a long time. It's a hot air furnace. And then it goes off for a long time, so I'm starting to get cold. And apparently you can set it differently, but my husband doesn't want to. He thinks it uses more fuel that way, and you know, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes you just have to kind of go along with them. So to just take this off here. So today is windy and cold still, and I can notice it immediately in the skin on my hands because they feel dry. My fingertips get dry, and a couple of days of this kind of weather, my fingertips actually get chapped and rough. So we have a little French flag here at the top of the Tour Eiffel. Anyway, I'm waiting for winter to be over. I have been thinking, like, usually we have little getaways. And often it's like, I'll go across the border to Bellingham and go to Hobby Lobby, which I haven't done for months. And part of the reason is I don't cross the border without getting travel insurance first. And travel insurance, mine ran out in January, and I haven't got new travel insurance. I usually buy it for a year, and it's kind of expensive. I tend to hold off until I'm actually planning a trip, because then it goes a year from when I buy it. So if I buy it just to have it and don't go anywhere for 2 months, I basically wasted 2 months of coverage. I really don't dare go across the border without it, because if anything were to happen and I got stuck in the US medical system, it's far different from the Canadian medical system. If you live in the US, you know what I mean. If you live in Canada, you know what I mean anyway. So I haven't really been anywhere, and I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to really get cabin fever, because winter's been going on for a solid 4 months. And I'm pretty much done with it. And I didn't get away to anywhere sunny this year. It just didn't work out. I'm kind of hoping that this cold wind will blow the clouds off, but it's still overcast and acting like it might want to snow. All right, there's all that extra stuff off. Okay, let's see what the best way to glue this is. I think I'm going to use this white glue. I have a link below for this kind of glue if you're interested. The great thing about it is the skinny nozzle. But to be honest, you get white glue, and you can buy little skinny nozzled bottles at the dollar store and whatnot. In fact, I have a little one around here somewhere. I like this one because of the size, and the glue is good. But all right, let's put our Eiffel Tower over here. Try not to squish out too much glue, because it means a lot of wiping up. Make sure it's kind of straight. We don't want to have a leaning Tower of Eiffel. Okay, that's down. I kind of like this, but it's too long. So I'm going to cut it in half. Cut off this extra on the sides here, so it matches, because this is rounded. And put it up here in this kind of gray part. Anyway, I have been taking, I signed up for a year-long program for artists in business. Now, I've been in business for a long time, and I've done several different things during that time, all creative in one form or another, under different names of companies. But this program is specifically for artists particularly in fine art or writing or basically anything, graphic design, whatever, to prosper in art. First I had no interest in this, and then they had a cash flow program, like a week-long inexpensive thing. I thought, okay. And every time something is in US dollars, I have to do the exchange and go, okay, how much is that in Canadian? Because there's a difference. And then I went, okay, I'll do it. I decided partway through, yep, this is the one for me. I love being coached. I haven't found the right coach for a very long time. Someone who has the same kind of beliefs as me, which is I'm a Christian, and I wanted something that I would connect that aspect with, so I wouldn't have to keep thinking, you know, I don't believe you, I don't trust you, I don't agree with you, that kind of thing. But is not just plain a business, because businesses, like there's all kinds of businesses, and your business can be all kinds of things. I want one here that's a little bit dense so that it actually shows up against this really, really bright black and white. Anyway, this one fit the bill. So and so far it's great because it's got lots of stuff going on, like lots of interactive things. I've never really actually looked through all of these before. I usually just kind of do a little flip and pick something. I do like this one. So this is a sticker, a washi sticker. So to get these off, remember, you have to rub your thumb over the edge towards the front, and then it'll peel a little bit off so you can actually have something to grasp. And then you take it off. And with this one, I'm going to actually put it down first because they tend to curl a lot. I like this because the white around the edge of it doesn't show up very much on the background. Anyway, I'm loving this course. It's by Matt Tommy, in case you're interested, and I would recommend it. Okay, I'm putting those over there. I'm making a little space here. And these are kind of all travel related, but they're so tiny. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for one of these. Now, so a lot of these are big because they were made for big scrapbook pages. Anyway, I'm loving this program, getting a lot out of it already, and they have sessions where you can talk to other people in the program, which is wonderful because you get ideas that you haven't thought of yourself. So I had one of these sessions yesterday, and somebody said, well, why don't you do this? And I'm like, oh, I never thought of it. I will look into that. Let's see, I think I have to tear it out. Come on, it wants to be cut. All right, we'll fix you. I'm going to use my cutter for this because I want straight lines. I think this is probably vellum, and the trick with the vellum is it doesn't like to be wet. I hope it's not vellum, but let's try it. So I'm using this glue, which is drier. I'll go right off the end and the edges. There. It's a little bit hard to read, but I like it anyway. Okay. Like I said, I'm a bit short on black and white things. So we'll see how this goes. This has gray around it, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, so back to talking about my trip with my daughter. Air travel has gotten so complicated lately. This is retoucherie couturier, which means literally clothes retoucher. All right, well, let's get some of these out and do some little bits here and there. Wait, I think I'll put one of these over here. Yeah, that works. It costs to fly non-stop from Vancouver to London. It's Air Canada, which is the only one, pretty much. And we decided after the last trip that we went on, well, and the last trip I went on, where I went to Paris with my sister, I flew to Montreal and then met up with her there because she lives near Montreal, and then flew on to Paris, which was fun, but it's so long. And I decided, well, and my daughter and I decided, next time we go somewhere, we'll just pay the extra, not try and save money by doing one of these hop, skip, and jump kind of things. We'll just pay the extra and fly nonstop because it's so ridiculously long. Like, Canada is so wide. You go through, it's 3 time zones away just to go to Montreal. These are all see-through. Let me see. Is that gonna work anywhere? I don't think so. That's too bad. Anyway, I'm gonna hang this little bird cage up here for no particular reason. Add this, hang in there. I'm gonna put it at an angle like that, just so that it's noticeable, because everything else is kind of like this. I would like to put something in here, but do I have anything that's big enough? This one is gray, so I'm going to use it as a little border. So to fly, now the airlines are adding, like, you get bare bones for the lowest fare, which isn't low anyway. And everything else costs a whole bunch more. So to take a suitcase, like to check a bag, is $75. $75. As the French would say, c'est absolument ridicule, which is probably easy to translate. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think I'll put this one in because it gives kind of a white break. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take a carry-on only. I'm not going to check a bag. But I have a couple of carry-ons, and they're kind of too small or too large. So I went and bought a new one the other day. I had a gift card that I got at Christmas time. So I've got this new wheelie bag. That was the other thing that my daughter and I decided to get. And the reason we decided to only go with non-stops, like, we're on the west part of Canada like that. So everything Europe is far. When I came home from Paris, going through Montreal with 3 hours stopover, from the hotel to my house took 28 hours of travel. It took me a week to recover. And part of that is that I live 2 hours from the airport. So unless I stay overnight in Vancouver when I arrive, it's an extra 2 hours on whatever, you know. Anyway, we kind of decided none of that. And when we came, my daughter and I went to Rome in 2019 and Venice, and it took, I think, 26 or 27 hours because our layover wasn't quite as long in Toronto or Montreal, I forget which. So I've decided I'm going to book a nonstop flight. We both said, hang the cost, it's worth it. Just do it, basically. So right now we're at the stage where, okay, we should probably start booking because we figured out what we want to do. She's got this week-long course, and I want to, you know, we're going to travel together. While she's in her course in Oxford, I'm going to find a place to stay in Oxford. There's lots of things nearby and lots of easy ways to get there by public transport, apparently. Plus lots of little tours, like day tours that go here, there, and everywhere out of Oxford. So now I'm looking forward to it, because before I thought, if I have to travel alone and then try to meet up with her and da-da-da-da, I had said to her, we could do that, and if perchance we meet, it's beautiful. And she goes, what? And I said, that's from the 70s. So if you're someone who has lived in the 70s, you probably know what I mean. Because there was this saying that came out on all kinds of things. It was, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and if by chance we meet, it's beautiful. It's a bit like now people say, you do you. So now I have to pack my suitcase and see if I can get everything in it. And for a 2-week trip. And fortunately, it's July, so I don't have to take big sweaters and coats and boots and all that kind of stuff. And we'll just hope that we have nice weather in England in July, which is not guaranteed. There, I am going to leave it at that because I have taken a lot of time to get this far. Please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to get the notifications. And click the like button because that tells the algorithm that it's a good thing. Please leave a comment if you have any comment about anything that I've done today or any day, and I'll see you next time.